everybody? Welcome back to the Wonbyone Podcast. I'm your host, Obi Megano. This is the show where we talk about the mindset, habits, the systems that drive success. And today, we're talking about Thanksgiving coming up, man. I know Thanksgiving is a tough time for a lot of my overseas athletes, specifically dealing with being, one of the first major holidays while you're in season. I know what it's like. It's just been tough. And so we wanted to come on here and just talk about what it's like, the difficulties of being overseas, the isolation, missing holidays, missing friends, missing family, what you can do about it, what to do, how to help yourself, all those good things. Let's just dive right into it. So for me, being overseas was tough. And I talk about that all the time. I talk about being overseas, mainly just missing your family, missing your friends. So you get over there and you're by yourself. And it's the first time you're really by yourself, especially for the younger athletes. For me, I got over there, I think 22, right out of college, moved straight to Europe. And, the time difference is the first thing you notice. You notice that immediately. You're trying to, you wake up in the morning and everybody's at work. It's late, they're at work, they're winding down, and then you got to wake up and you attack your day. You go to practice, you go to weights, you come home and you're eating and they're winding down. They're getting in bed. They might have families. It's quiet time, right? 7, 8 p.m. It's quiet time. And so for them, it's they're spending time with their family. And so for you, you're lonely. You're just kind of waking up. You're just kind of hitting your day. You might have things you want to express with people that you can't, because they've got their own stuff going on. And then you get into feeling like, man, maybe these people don't care about me and they don't want to see me do well and they don't support me, and all those thoughts come to your head. And in reality, they're just focusing on their own lives. They've got their own lives to live, just like you do. And so it really hits you. It's like you have to learn to be self-sufficient. You got to learn to be okay with yourself. You got to learn how to sit down and be in your house and be okay with that, and not just learn that, but find ways to help yourself outside of that. And kind of for me, one of the things that I learned was just finding teammates, finding things to do outside of yourself. I think with Americans, the worst thing that they do is they stay inside their house and they play video games. And while that's all fun and well, you got to be able to get outside and you've got to enjoy, the city. I lived in Madrid. I lived in Milan. I lived in Paris. I lived right outside Paris. I lived all these places, and I didn't really get to see them because I was spending all my time inside of my house. Whether I was feeling bad, feeling sorry for myself, and that's normal because we all do it, but just not feeling like you had energy to go see anybody because you were so tired. And I know what that's like. And so just finding ways to, during these times, during these holidays, go find a teammate to be with. Don't be by yourself. Don't sit in the house by yourself, or go get a meal. Like, that's something that we did a lot of times. If a lot of Americans would get together, we would go cook, buy like chicken or buy, all the good stuff that you like to eat. It's not a turkey, it's not stuffing, it's not home cooked meals, but it is something to get your mind off of being at home and being alone during those times, because I know that's tough. So, calling your friends, calling your family, all those things. One of the things that we did, like I said, is creating traditions. So we would always cook, and for me it was fried tofu. You guys were asking, what did Obi cook? We would do fried tofu. We'd cook them in like little chicken fingers, like strips. So I would cut these little tofu strips. We would fry them. We would make, obviously, the vegan mac and cheese. I would do the vegan stuffing, have all the treats and stuff like that. So that was what mine looked like. But it was, it's tough being away from your home. It's tough being away on holidays specifically. These are times that we spend, like birthdays. I didn't go to a wedding until I was an adult. Like my first wedding, I think I was 28, because I missed all of the time during the season, during the wedding times. I was overseas playing, right? That's something that a lot of times players don't talk about, is like being alone, missing birthday parties, missing weddings. I missed both of my brother. Well, no, not both of them. I missed my one of my brother's weddings. I finally got to go to my other brother's wedding 2 years ago, but just missing all those weddings, missing all those important moments, it's tough. And so it's a sacrifice that we make that really goes unnoticed, but it's something that we got to do to continue to chase the dreams that we love. It's you got to take the good with the bad. And so I know a lot of athletes that struggle with that. And if you are struggling with that, I think just finding time to call your loved ones, finding time to hang out, get some food that you like, get outside. Don't spend time just kind of sitting and dwelling in those during the holidays. Me personally, and I think this kind of helped me because personally, I don't come from a family where we don't celebrate holidays that big. Like my birthday, we don't celebrate the birthday. You might get a gift, but probably not. Halloween, I mean, Thanksgiving and Christmas, we might eat to get like eat as a family, but we'll eat as a family and that's it. We don't really make a big deal out of the holidays. But going overseas, man, it was tough because I was missing my friends and they were enjoying their time. And that's when it became tough. It's like me wanting to hang out with my friends or wanting to hang out with my girl or wanting to hang out because that's another thing. Like a lot of times, a lot of athletes go over there without their significant others, and that's just a whole nother animal. Like being over distance is like that's a whole different animal, man. But for me, it was tough when you see your loved ones at home enjoying their time. You see everybody on Instagram posting their meals, posting their dishes. And at first it's like, okay, I don't really care. And then as I kind of got older, I was like, man, like, when am I going to get some time with my family? When am I going to get time with my friends? Like, you don't get these moments back. And that was when it really hit me, is when I started realizing I was getting older and I had missed all those times and I hadn't been to a wedding. I'm like, how are you 28 years old and haven't been to a wedding ever? And so those things is like when I thought about you can't be 25 and at a wedding when you can't have that moment again when you're 28. You don't get to go back and say, man, and so that was tough for me. But what I did do, and this was the big change for me, is like I'm not at home, but I am in Spain and Madrid. You know what I mean? Like there's worse things. There's worse places I could be. I'm not in Oklahoma City like with my family, but I am in Madrid, Spain. So make the most of that. Go enjoy their customs. And that's when, like, honestly, that's when the unlock happened for me, is like, I'm a European now. Let me go outside. I'm walking the Christmas market. I'm saying hi to the Christmas people. I'm walking the Christmas market. I'm eating the Christmas food. Like, I started enjoying their customs. And then I started realizing, oh, it doesn't, like you said, it's about to be Thanksgiving, but it's just another Thursday or whatever, But like, they are doing something for their customs. Maybe it's not on America's Thanksgiving Day. Maybe it's not the same thing you would do in America, but they're enjoying that holiday in their way. So rather than looking for America in Spain, go be in Spain in Spain. Go enjoy the Spanish customs in Spain. But a lot of times we're so hard-headed. Americans are really hard-headed. We're so hard-headed. We want our way. We want what we're used to. Well, that's another thing. Like we talk about success. Just because it's not what you're used to doesn't mean it's not valuable. Doesn't mean it can't be of value to you. Doesn't mean you can't use it and and enjoy it. And so I had to learn, like I said, man, walk around the Christmas market. Like at first, I didn't want to go outside. I still I still don't love going outside. But like during those times, go walk around the Christmas market, man. See the lights. Go see how beautiful the city is. They spent all this time and all this money decorating for you, but you're pouting in your room because you can't hang out with your friends in America. Well, it's not going to change, okay? It's not going to change. And after year 3 of realizing, I can't be with my friends, you're like, well, maybe I should play a different game. Maybe I should go try to enjoy myself. And so that's kind of what the change was for me.
It's actually very funny as you explain that. One, hilarious. You don't like going outside. Very funny. Uh, but also it does remind me of what you talk about with the internal scoreboard, where your holiday scoreboard is one
Yes.
thing,
Yes.
right? Where you're hanging out with your family and your friends or
Yes.
whatever it is for whoever's listening. But you kind of changed your internal holiday scoreboard to be like, well, I can't hang out with my friends, but I can go walk around a Christmas market,
Yeah,
which we
man.
don't really have in America the same way. That's
Absolutely.
it is an interesting way that that system carries on to other things.
Yeah, man. And that like and I'm glad you said that, bro, because that's kind of how I view that's my viewpoint in taking tough times and making them not so tough. Right? And that's how it happens in everything. Like with all my injuries that I went through, right? Even as I go as I am right now, all these injuries, it's like, man, this sucks. Well, it's not changing. What can you do about it? There's only a few things you can do about it, right? So as I'm in Europe and I got to love, bro, I used to come home from practice every day. I had to talk myself out of stopping at the little Christmas spot because I'm like, dang, I'm trying to stop and get a little churro and get the little chocolate dip. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't got this in America. And so I started really enjoying that, bro. And I bring my girl came over, I bring people over. I'm like showing them the market. I'm like, I some of my friends came and stayed with me in shout out Josh, shout out the Plockins. They came and stayed with me in Madrid. I took them to the market. We walking around the Christmas market, enjoying the locals, talking to the locals, like making an attempt. And so, when you go live in these foreign countries, the worst thing that people do is they go there as an American. Yeah, go there to learn their customs, man. You walked into these people's homes and you tried to change their custom because you think that America's the greatest place ever. And no, man, respect their culture. And that was, I don't care where you are, man. You could be in Slovenia, you could be in Uganda, you could be in Germany, you could be in Finland, wherever you are, they have a custom. Those people have been living and making it for a very long time. So rather than going there with your arrogance and thinking that you need to change them, go enjoy their custom. Go live a day in their shoes. You know what I'm saying? Go see what they like and what they value and what they do for their Christmas and what they do for their Thanksgiving. Go be with them because that's where you are. And so like getting away from the it's getting away from, like you said, like your internal scoreboard, from your comfort zone, getting out of what you're so comfortable with doing and going and accepting the situations as they are and adapting to them, right? That's how we should react. And so I don't want to say should, but that's another way to react to those circumstances. Yeah, being able to find something else to hold on to and to value.
Absolutely, man. That's great advice for anybody, who's going through that right now. On the topic of being overseas and playing basketball overseas, um, what can you would you mind walking me through the process a little bit of how you pick where you're going, if you pick at all? Do you get any say in what country you go to when you're going to play overseas? And are there, because you played all over now, are there some countries that are harder to adapt to than others?
Yeah, for sure. So let's go back to front. So certain countries that are harder to adapt to than others. Yes. I would say number one would be France. Very hard to adapt to. And I'll tell you why. France is hard to adapt to because a lot of times you go to France, this is the typical journey. You won't start in the first division unless I didn't start in the first division, right? You won't start in the first division, you'll start in the second or third. You start in the second division in France, it's extremely physical. It's just a whole bunch of Africans. That's all it is. People think about France. I don't know what people think about France, but France is more black than it is white. It's just all Africans in France. So you go
It
there,
100% is.
it's just all black people. It's all black people in France. People don't realize that, bro. France is filled with black people. It's just like everywhere you go is all. So the French basketball league is just African athletes.
So when you say that, for people like myself who I don't really know what you mean, it's aggressive. Okay. Yeah. You get an elbow.
Just getting hit. Ugh. Getting hit, no foul calls. You just getting bumped constantly. And you're getting bumped by people that look like everybody looks like me.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I'm
don't
saying?
want
So you're just getting pinballed. Like I went there, bro, and I'm just getting pinballed around. I'm like, yo, ref, you don't see these like, and it's funny. Everybody laughs like, oh, I'll play physical back. Yeah, but you're the American, right? So you go there, you don't get to play how they play, and
you'll get
that's
called on.
you'll get called on. And so, and that's like that's the dichotomy you face there is like mentally it's grappling because you're like, oh wait, ref, he's fouling me, I foul him. That's logic. He fouls you, you can't foul him. And so it's like it's it's so frustrating how it eats at you because like you'll get a foul call and then it completely changes the way you play the game because you have a foul call. You're only limited 5, right? So you get 1 or you get 2, and now you can't play your game because now you can't bump anybody, you can't run it. You're afraid to do anything. You're mad at the refs. And then now the coach is going to pull you out because you're mad and you're not effective because you're not playing aggressive because you're afraid of fouling. It's just like this domino, bro, that's just tipping. And guys, mentally, it's like it'll make you. It just grinds your gears, man, because it's something you're not used to, and then you have to learn to be humble because like you have to learn to kind of play from a disadvantage, and it's just a whole different stuff, different sides to it. So as far as like the difficulty and the difficulty levels, France is definitely hard because it's extremely aggressive. You can ask anybody that's played there. What was the other question you asked me, which was
Do you get any choice
oh
in
yeah,
where
so
you get to play?
do you get a choice? So when I came out of college, I had a my partner at the time was in Poland. And so I knew that I wanted to stay in like Poland, Germany, Italy, France, Spain. Like that was my thing. I wanted to be in those countries. I told my agent, like if it's not those countries, I don't want to go. And so I got to choose there, but it's also limited. And I came off of a really good college career, so I had more leeway than most guys. But a lot of times you don't get to pick where you're going. For the majority of the guys that I'm dealing with, that we're talking to, if you're a high caliber, high level guy, sure, you can choose where you're going. But most of the people aren't that, or they wouldn't be asking the question. Most of the people, they're going to get thrown somewhere in a third, fourth division, and it's going to be a gauntlet down there. And your job is to just survive. Your job is to survive, be a professional, don't get cut, just survive. And so, once you do that, you'll go there, you'll survive in that league. You'll probably average anywhere from 10 to 15 points, hopefully. And then you'll show everybody, I can be a professional. Then after that, then you'll make your way one step up. So say you start in the fourth division, then you'll go third. Then you do the same thing. Then you show everybody, I can do it here. Then you go second. You show everybody I can do it here, then you go first. And that's literally how the grind goes. So it'll take you 3 years before you see some fruit out of this tree that you've been, watering and pruning forever. But the problem is a lot of guys will go overseas and they're like, I want to make this much money. I want to play here. I want to do this, this, and this. Well, okay. And that's the attitude they take. And it just doesn't work out like that because you're not making the rules. And so, when you realize and you have that humility is like, all right, the best thing I tell guys is like, don't worry about where you're going. Just worry about putting up numbers. Go wherever you are, put up numbers. And then after that, you'll get to a better team. So I don't care. And let's just talk numbers because guys don't really realize like a lot of the guys that come talk to me, they're looking for an overseas job. You're making $600 euros to 1,000 euros. That's what you'll make for the month. But guys are like, man, I could go work at McDonald's and make $3,000 in America. Well, if you want to play European basketball, that's where you're going to have to start. And if you can swallow that, that's like that first level. If you can swallow that, your pride, and understand that you're not going to make $1,000, you're going to make $1,000 at max your first year a month. If you can swallow your pride and accept that, then you can make it overseas. But the guys, they don't want to accept that that's what it looks like. They think, I'll go work at Academy. I'll go work at Walmart. I can work at McDonald's flipping burgers and make 3-4K a month. Why would I go overseas and risk birthdays, weddings, missing my kids, missing my family? Why would I go risk all of that for $1,000 a month overseas? It doesn't make sense. Well, that's what the journey looks like, right?
But what's the upside on that?
The upside is this. The upside is you. So let's use a realistic, and I wish I had a board. This would be awesome. A realistic journey. So a player comes to me with, he played D2, D3, maybe even D1, but didn't average any numbers. If you didn't average over 14 points, this is your route, period. If you weren't at a power school in a Division I, and if you average 14 or less points, this is your route. You go overseas, you'll make anywhere probably 750 euros to 1,500 euros. That's what you'll make. And then that'll be year one, right? 6, 8, 10 months. And if you can do that, stick that through, then you earned a badge. They'll say, okay, cool. Then we'll give you a better job next year. Next year, be about 2,000, 2,500. Cool. You go there, you finish that season, you earn a badge. Next year, 3,000, 4,000. You finish that season, you earn a badge. You kill that season, you might go 15,000 next year. You get what I'm saying? But so that's the thing. You'll go 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 10,000, 20,000. But you've got to stick it out. But a lot of guys are like, but that's the thing. Europe is like, they don't care about your resume. You could be overseas. You could be an NBA guy. You'll come overseas. But you're not going to make any money. You're not going to make what you made over there. You got to show us. You show us that you can play. You show us that you can handle being a professional here for a year. Then you'll earn your stripes. But you got to earn your stripes. And that's like, it took me 5 years to earn my stripes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got released. Went to second division, led second division in scoring, went to the first division, averaged 8 points in the first division. Really good team though. Next year, first division again in France, averaged 14. Oh, now he can play. Go to the ACB in Spain. Now I earned my stripes. Now I'm in the ACB in Spain. Now I'm in the ACB in Spain on the worst team in the league, and I had terrible numbers. And they were like, OB, you got to show us you can play again. So I re-signed to the same team. Literally, didn't go up, kind of took a little step like this, just a little ladder step. They said, OB, you got to show us you can play. Killed that league that year. And then it was like, oh, doors are open. And so that's kind of like, that's how that progress goes. But it took me 5 years to go show everybody that I can play. And I got released the first year, you know? And I talk about my guy, Chima Moneki, one of my Nigerian teammates. The team, when I was in second division France, I led that team in scoring. Chima went there. Mind you, Chima plays in Red Star in Belgrade right now. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, that's where he's at right now. He went to that second division team and got cut. Got cut from that team. You know what I'm saying? It's just a whole funny situation how it works, man. But the worst thing that guys do is they go over there and they think that I'm supposed to be doing all this in year one, bro. You haven't done anything. You didn't even play for your team in college. Matter of fact, you didn't even play in high school. What are you talking about? You know, and so like the least you could do is be humble, because the guys, like for myself, guy who won state, went to NCAA, one of the leading scorers in NCAA, did all those things. I still got cut my first year. Like, you're very humbling. You're no better, you know? And that was a humbling moment for me. So I tell guys all the time, I don't care how much talent you are. Humble yourself, go over there, work hard, because that's the only thing that matters. Can you work and show everybody that you deserve to be here? You got to earn your stripes. And so, and I take that into my business world now. Like, When I talk about guys, we were just talking about me hiring. You come in here and you show me you want a job, like you gotta work first. You don't come here and demand anything. You gotta work and show that you're worth something. Because in the real life, in the bit, that's what being an athlete taught me. Despite what you did before you came here, you must come here and show progress first. And so I think that when we're talking about teams, when we're talking about guys earning minutes, business people earning more business leeway, should I say, in corporations, you have to provide value. That is the only thing that matters. And you will not be paid first. You first have to do the work, provide the value, and then you get paid after. You don't get paid and then say, all right, guys, now I'm here to do my job. No, you come and show us what you can do, and then we'll pay you for doing the job.
That's really interesting, man. It's fascinating to know that it works that way in Europe because, like you say, you start with $1,000 a month or €1,000 a month or whatever. As someone who lives in Europe, that's not a lot.
Yeah. No.
You're not living in the nice part of town.
No.
You're not doing the bougie European things that you see on Instagram or whatever. So you got to have a mindset and some fortitude that's going to bring you through that.
You get treated like, and that's the thing, man. It's. I'll tell you this. I love this about sports. You start from the bottom. You go to the NBA, you're the first round draft pick, they will egg your car. You're bringing popcorn and bagels to the gym every day. You know what I mean? Like that's how they treat you. And I love that about sports. It's like the elders go first. You have to respect your elders. It creates, but we've gotten away from that now, and that's the problem. We've gotten away from that, but it creates this working environment, this environment of people who are like, you got to earn your stripes to be here. It takes away that entitlement. I think that entitlement is there now because guys are getting things that they didn't earn, they didn't work for. And if you don't work for it, you won't know how to keep it. And so when you have, and I think that's like as unks, as the big homies, it's our job to make it a little bit uncomfortable, lovingly, to make it like hard, because life isn't easy. And these guys, like a lot of these younger guys growing up, they're used to the easy road, and it's not building. What do they say? Who has that statement? It's like what is it? Soft times make hard. Who has that statement? Do you?
Hard times make hard men make soft times make weak men make hard times. Something
Something
like
like
that.
that. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, man. That's kind of what I think that we're dealing with now, man. And like I said, I love sports because you have to learn to you learn to earn your stripes, and you work your way up the ladder. And I think life is like that. Business is like that. If you're trying to be great at anything, you have to learn to carry the water. Like the leaders got to learn to carry the water first, to then learn to lead the pack. So
I want to know what you think about like second generation players. And I feel like this is kind of like a newer thing, and I think it's very media driven. So I know probably the basketball equivalent is LeBron James' son, but
hmm
I don't know so much about that. So
hmm
I asked the question in a way that I understand, and you
all
make
right.
it however you want. But what do you think about like I don't know if you follow the story of Shador Sanders,
Yeah, he's Deion Sanders'
Deion
son.
Sanders' son. Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
Deion Sanders' son um, was ready to get drafted. He set up like a $500,000 draft party to
I
get
saw
drafted. He had all his boys there. He had a whole thing going on, right? Didn't get drafted. First of all, gut punch, right? But when you hear the guy talk, and when you were, if you were watching any of the streams at that time, like I was seeing clips of them here and there, he didn't even seem to be really humbled by the idea that he wasn't drafted when he should have been. Um, and so I want to ask you, what do you think about like that whole situation? It's, as a whole, and you make it about basketball if you want, but what do you think about that whole situation? And what does that say to young players about how they should behave in a situation where they could get drafted, or just an agent calling them and say, you want to play for this team, whatever? And then what does that say about the culture overall, where it's like we do have these kind of almost like Nepo babies. They might have a ton of talent, uh, like Shador Sanders he has a ton of talent, but no team wanted him. And it's not
Yeah.
because of his talent.
Character's number one. And I say that, and this is good you said that, man, because I ran into, I think I'll go today too to one of the local high schools here and watch their practice. I went to one of the local practices last week, and one of the kids just with a terrible attitude. I mean, a god awful attitude. Great kid. Great kid. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Just, but on the court, so emotional that it just takes him out of the game. And I had a meeting with him. Me and the coaches had a meeting after practice. And I sat him down. And I said, look, man, there's going to be a college coach. There is college coaches, for one, that are calling his current coach and asking his current coach, does he have any players? But when it's time for that player to go to college, I'm going to get a call about that player. And I told him, I said, I'm going to get a call about you. They will call me and ask me about you. What do you want me to tell them? Because I'm not going to lie. I have to tell them what I saw. And they don't want players that they got to deal with attitude issues because there's too much talent. Everybody can run. Everybody can jump. Everybody can. Those players are a dime a dozen. And so if you can't figure this out, we won't deal with you. And right now, the coaches that you have, I think about when I was in college, when I was in high school, that's the most love you'll ever get from a coach. Ever. Ever. And guys take that stuff for granted. They take it for granted. When you're a professional, you think somebody's calling you going to say, hey, come to practice? No. You don't come to practice? Fine. Fine, go home. And that's, you know what I mean? Like, you want to show up late? We'll just fine you. We won't ask you any questions. We'll fine you. We're not calling and asking, did you oversleep? Do you want to come do your workout again? Can we get it in tomorrow? Like, that's what you're getting right now from your coaches and people who love and care about you. And you taking it for granted. And so, like, that whole, the attitude side of it, I mean, you have to come out of that. You've got to be, for one, you've got to be a outstanding character. Like, that's how you get an edge up, a step up. Is being being on time, have high level of communication, be personable, be coachable. Like, those things have nothing to do with talent. Those things have nothing to do with talent. But guys can't even do that. And they say, well, I bring all the talent. Well, nobody cares about the talent. Bring the thing that we care about. And that goes back to being coachable. Like, you can make a shot, but you won't show up on time and you won't talk on defense. You're not valuable to us. I don't care, and so, back to the, to the Shadur thing and to the Nepo babies, man. It's like, and we talked about that, growing up with that sense of entitlement. And the biggest thing is you're going to get humbled at some point, and as a professional, I talk about me being humbled. And I try to humble these athletes early so they don't have to deal with that, the humbling in that sense on a public level. Right now, it's all private. Right now, it's all between you and your team and your coach. But as you get older, all of that's public. All of that is public. And all of your, the behaviors, the mistakes, all of that becomes public with social media. So you've got to address those issues early. And that's a lot of the times that's what I'm dealing with, is with parents and with athletes, and just helping their athlete become more mindful of how their behaviors are affecting their team, how their behaviors are affecting themselves and everybody else around them, because they're not really understanding because of being given so many things. And so I think it's important, like I said, man, character is number one. Talent can only take you so far, and I know we hear that all the time, but I would much rather have a player who listens and applies and is less talented than the guy who is more talented but won't listen and won't be coachable. We don't want that guy. And you as a high schooler, you can be that guy. You can have a bad attitude as a high schooler because you're the best player on your team. There's nobody else we're going to go to. But when you get to college, it's filled with 15 of all the best high school guys. Now it's you and everybody else. Now everybody has the same skill level. Now how are you going to set yourself apart? What are you going to do to set yourself apart? You have to be coachable. You have to be able to listen to it and apply. My pet peeve is when I have to tell players and athletes the same thing over and over again. We're at a workout. There's 4 of us. This guy went. That guy went. That guy went. You're the 4th one to go and you mess up the drill. Why? Why did you mess up the drill? Because I don't know how to do it. Well, 3 people just went. Why didn't you ask? Why didn't you communicate? Why didn't you listen when I explained it? You know, and so just those are the things that coaches won't spend any time on. As a high schooler, you can get by with that because they will allow you. We don't have anybody better to go to. In college, there's plenty of guys better to go to. Plenty of guys better to go to. So don't make me tell you again. And that's how the coaches treat. That's how they think about it. Don't make me tell you again. I don't want to tell you again. I don't want to have to spend time babysitting you. Come here and let's work as a team. And so, you know, that's the entitlement part of it, and getting guys to understand that side is difficult. And I don't know Shadur, and I hope and I think he's working hard. I kind of know Dion from what I've heard, and I know that they're fans of hard work, but you know, just to set up that whole thing and be so unsure. I get there's a whole like media side and publicity side to it. I get that. But at the same time, man, you know, there's a reason he didn't go there for whatever reason, but there is a reason, you know, and so the GMs, the coaches, they didn't value that at a higher position for whatever reason. I don't know. And I think that there's a takeaway from that for him. And so it's up to him and his team to figure out where he needs to work on and what they need to do to help him get there.
It's Thanksgiving. Let's have fun.
Yeah.
A couple of fun questions.
Yeah. A little fun thing. A little fun thing.
If you could play any sport that wasn't basketball, what is it?
Soccer. Yeah. I love soccer, dude. Yeah. I mean, I watch soccer more than basketball.
You ready to shout out a team right now?
Here's the thing, and I'm gonna say this, man. I don't have a team in any sport.
Okay.
And it's my dad's fault. My dad, he's huge. That's all he doesn't know any other sport besides soccer. He doesn't have a team. He just doesn't. Dad, who's your favorite team? I don't know. I just like the game. That's his answer.
That's actually my grandpa is very much like that.
You know, and so like
watch every game.
Yeah, I just like the game.
Yeah.
You cheer for both teams. I'm like, okay. Yeah. You know, and so like me growing up, I didn't have a team, and now people are like, who's your basketball team? I'm like, the Thunder. I guess I live here. You know, I don't have a team. And when I was a kid, it was like, who's your favorite team? I was like, I don't know. I like Dwayne Wade. I like the Heat. Dwayne Wade's there. That was my thing. It's like I just like the guy and I like the team. So as far as soccer, I don't know, man. I don't keep up with it as much as I should. My little cousin plays for West Bromwich in the UK, Daryl DK. He's there right now, so I keep up with them a little bit, but I just like to watch the game, and I'm a fan of sport. I go and kick around the soccer ball a little bit myself here, so I enjoy it, man.
So we recently had a Badass Vegan on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
And personally, I thought that was really cool because other than you and knowing you for the past year or so, or over a year, I've never known vegans to be badass. You know, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Uh, so I learned a lot from that episode. I've learned a lot from talking to you all the time, and I'm wondering, what's your go-to vegan holiday meal?
Ooh. Um, on my holidays, see, I just like to eat a lot. You know, that's the thing. Like, what do you do on your cheat meals? I just eat more than I normally do, and I like indulge. I overindulge. That's my cheat meal.
You don't do like The Rock where he takes a picture next to like 15 pancakes. You're
Well,
eating the same
so
stuff.
yeah, yeah. So, but so here's the thing: is like I am famous. My family knows me for like I love pancakes. So like there's a picture of when I was a kid. We're at the Christmas table, and I'm eating. I had my family make me pancakes at Christmas, you know, and so that's something that I would definitely do. But yeah, like I'll make a whole bunch. I'll eat like my high is 13 IHOP pancakes, but I they had the all you can eat one day. I did
Oh,
13.
13 IHOP pancakes?
Yeah, I did 13 on the all you
Can
can
we
eat.
talk about how IHOP, even though it's a chain, has the best pancakes on planet Earth?
Crazy.
It's insane.
It's crazy. They're just so
And they put
fluffy.
something in that syrup because it's so
Not
good.
a fan, Taylor?
What?
Can't say it's the
Who are we
best.
going with? Okay, I
There's like a million pancakes. Can't say it.
All right, but who's better?
that's
There's a bunch of local places that are better.
yeah.
But
I feel you.
if you're talking about like mass quantity,
13 of them. Who's gonna give you? Who
like
else is
if
gonna
you're
give you
talking about
13?
the best mass quantity, sure.
Yeah, for
I
sure,
can understand that.
for
But
sure.
singular pancake, no.
Yeah, I hear
You know
you.
what's a surprisingly good pancake?
Who?
Have you guys ever been to Cracker Barrel?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, so Cracker Barrel, I only recently found out. We don't have a ton. I'm
That's
from
like
the Northeast.
America's pancake. That's like
So we don't have a lot of those where I'm from.
yeah.
And I did a road trip last year and I went to a Cracker Barrel. Their pancake is not a pancake. Let's
No.
start there.
Yeah, it's
It's
not.
a fried piece of flat dough,
Yeah, exactly.
but it's real tasty.
Have you? So you're from up north.
Yeah.
Have you spent any time in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, of course.
Have you? Do they have a waffle shop there?
Waffle shop? I've never heard of.
Yeah,
We have Waffle House.
I know. There's a waffle shop
That I've never heard of.
up in State College. So I used to be up in State College,
State College. Hold on.
Pennsylvania, Penn State College,
I don't.
and
Oh man, you know what? I never made it to Penn State. I
so
had a
I,
buddy that went to York, which is real close.
so my ex was in Penn State, and so I used to be up in State College, bro. And that they had a waffle shop. That place used to go crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, that place used
I
to go
know. So the
crazy.
closest I was to that was like an hour.
Yeah,
It
no,
didn't matter. The waffle place.
Waffle Shop used to go crazy in State College. Yeah, man, that's it. That's it for our holiday episode, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. For everybody that's overseas, that's missing their family, missing their loved ones, stay the course. That's all I have to say, man. Stay the course. You know why you're there. I know it's difficult, but you know if you can find some time to get outside of yourself, enjoy some time outside, on the phone, whatever you can do to connect with your people back home. You know, it's not for nothing. So stay the course. If you need or have any other questions for me, you guys can make sure to drop them on IG. Send me a message, connect with me. You guys know I always respond to all my messages. So connect with me and I'll connect back and we'll keep this thing going. We'll answer next questions on our next community episode. So we'll see you guys next time. Peace.